Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation, and as you exhale, just allow any feelings of anxiety, tension or stress to leave your body in your outward breath. As you continue to breathe in and breathe out, I want you to focus your attention on all sounds that aren't the sound of my voice. Perhaps the ticking of a clock. Maybe get a sense that perhaps the sound of distant voices in a different room. Maybe the sound of the electricity and lights, distant sounds of traffic. And notice that the more you focus on those sounds other than my voice, the easier it is for me to communicate to that part of your subconscious mind. Because in the same way that you don't think about blinking, you don't think about breathing, you don't think about your heart beating, most of the time you don't think about thinking. Thoughts just happen all by themselves. So as you continue to breathe in and breathe out with your eyes closed, notice that as I speak, that starts to lead your thoughts to positive directions. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a beach. I want you to imagine the material on the beach. Is it sand? Is it pebbles? Imagine the weather on that particular day. Is it cloudy? Is it sunny? Is it windy? Is there a light breeze? I want you to notice that it's private. It's just you on this beach. Notice the freshness of the air. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice that it feels very effortless to breathe on that beach. I want you to notice that the sea that meets the beach has waves. But this sea is strange. There's periods where the waves are shallow and small, and then occasionally the occasional large wave, and then a cluster of waves. Exactly the kind of waves that would be a surfer's dream. I want you to get a sense that while a big wave would be a reason for most people to avoid and get out of the water, for a surfer, they would look at that wave with the mentality of harnessing that wave, conquering that wave, riding that wave. And I want you to think in your lifetime, if life events, if emotions, if challenges were waves, how many waves have you ridden? How many waves have you surfed in your life? I want you to get a sense that you are a surfer of life's waves. You have the skills. You can read and anticipate the waves. You can maintain balance even on the larger waves. I want you to get a sense that even if a wave knocks you over, doesn't it mean that you have more experience at handling similar waves in the future? The interesting thing about waves is that they don't last very long. Even a large wave is there, it grows, and then before you know it, it's just like the wave never existed. I want you to think about some of the most challenging waves that you've surfed in your life. Even if it knocked you down, you had the experience. Some of those big waves you thought you couldn't handle, actually you could. And I want you to get a sense that whether those waves are emotions, whether those waves are problems or challenges, you have more experience now than at any other time in your life as to how best to handle those waves. Some waves need decisions. Some waves need perspective. And sometimes you just need to see a wave and know that you've seen a very similar wave many times before and that it just won't be there for very long, to give you a sense that you can handle life's waves. I want you to get a sense that there is a particular resource deep inside you. I want you to create an image, perhaps of a golden pyramid. I want you to imagine that pyramid glowing and connect it to a feeling of resourcefulness. And I want you to get a sense that whenever you think about that shape in that location, in that color, at that brightness, moving in the way that it's moving, that you feel highly resourceful. Feel that feeling and look at those waves. And notice that no matter how big the wave is, you can't help but think, I've got this. I can handle this. Because either you will handle it, or you'll learn something about that experience, which means the next wave that looks similar, you are more prepared for than you were before. I want you to get a sense that life is full of patterns. Even if a problem comes along that looks like a strange wave, it's probably very similar to many other waves that you've successfully dealt with before. If a wave of anxiety was to come along, just ask yourself the questions: how many times in your life have you surfed the wave of anxiety? I want you to get a sense that problems provide opportunities for resolutions. Emotions provide the opportunity for insight and reflection. I want you to get a sense that there is only one way to have no problems, and that is that you don't exist. The only people with no problems are people that aren't alive. So the fact that you have waves means that you're alive. And if you're alive, then you're capable of learning, capable of extracting wisdom from the past and applying it to the future. And continue to see each and every one of those waves. Feel that glowing pyramid there in that location and just get a sense of, I can handle this. I want you to imagine there is a surfboard nearby. Feel that glowing pyramid. And I want you to imagine that you've got the skills of an expert surfer. Imagine going out to meet those waves with the attitude of excitement, feeling that ability that you can surf and ride those waves. Each wave represents a different situation in life. And as you feel that glowing pyramid, I want you to get a sense that I've got this. I can ride these waves. And then imagine that the wave has a pattern that you haven't seen before and maybe knocks you off your surfboard. There you are in the water. Maybe you go back to the shore, and I want you to imagine that you just take a deep breath in and feel that although that wasn't a desirable experience, it will not deter you from going back in the water. Some waves represent communication issues. Some waves represent relationship dynamics. Some waves represent your ability to manage your time and your priorities. But just get a sense that all of these waves can either be surfed or they can be learned from. I want you to get a sense that you have unlocked the capability of treating life as an adventure that you are looking forward to. And I want you to imagine that your life's adventure is made up of different chapters. I want you to imagine there is a little place near that beach, maybe a home. I want you to imagine going into that place and seeing a large book on a table. I want you to imagine that that book is open at the halfway point. You can see pages and pages of written works up to the halfway point. But from the halfway point onwards, the book is unwritten. I want you to get a sense that there's been many chapters in this book. Each chapter influenced the subsequent chapters, and yet half of this book is still unwritten. I want you to get a sense that you are the author of this book, about to start a new chapter. And you approach that new chapter with the attitude of knowing everything that I now know. What would I do differently? How can I make better choices? What's the most important things to experience, to do? And I want you to get a sense that you're feeling a sense of positive anticipation, excitement, optimism for this next chapter. And you are unlocking wisdom. Wisdom is just the ability to extract the important points in the previous chapters to ensure any new chapters give you more of what you want and less of what you don't. And if your unconscious mind is happy to unlock wisdom, unlock courage, unlock resilience, so this very next chapter becomes the best chapter it can be for you at this point in your life, just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to get a sense that the fact that the pages aren't written yet feels exciting, because some of these waves in your future will come from the decisions that you make. Wouldn't it be odd to feel anxious about the very waves that you've written into your own chapter? Just accept. Big waves will come on your horizon, but that you've got the resources, the wisdom, the skills to meet those waves, to surf those waves, to ride those waves. And who would want to read a book with no challenges, no adversity? Isn't that what makes a story interesting? That when people meet adversity with a spirit of courage, optimism, and resourcefulness,